Okay, so the real reason behind this video is to talk about Mad Gamer's comment that he originally posted on Twitter, and then it followed up with a video in which Jeff Rock D, the GOAT, responded to. Now, I'm going to read his comment for verbatim, or his tweet that he did put out there, which started it together. Technical difficulties, guys. I'm sorry about that. He wrote, "I respect and appreciate your intent, but NBA Live is the best basketball game out right now. It's already great for those. It's already great. Those who do not know is another topic. We as a community need to make more people aware. Big respect on the efforts. Hope you can do great things." Right? Hashtag NBA Live community. Now, my problem with that comment comes with two things. If you are a game changer, if you communicate directly to the developers, you are no longer representing yourself. You represent a community that's supposed to stand behind you. Now, we don't have the ability to impact the decisions on the who gets picked and who doesn't get picked. We don't have that. So I'm going to hold your opinion to a higher esteem than myself or my fellow colleagues. That is probably by far the biggest issue that I have. If you're a game changer, if you talk to the developers, if you have some type of relationship, secret or not, because a lot of people like playing that game, your opinion is either A, valued more than my opinion, or it's going to be heard before mine. So you better believe I'm going to have an issue if you come with an opinion. Now, my problem with it was that it was opinion, and it's not an issue with opinion, but he didn't say it was his opinion. He tried to make it and spin it off as factual. One of the biggest things is his video. So he dropped a 47-minute video trying to justify his reasoning behind it. At the same time, trying to be condescending, using some basic knowledge, game design words to make it look like he understood what he was talking about. In reality, he lacked some core principles there. So, and then we also have Jeffrey Cortina's Rock D, his video. But let's go open up. He had a video 47 minutes long, and one of the things he first talks about is the overall look. Does NBA Live have a greater appearance to NBA 2K? This video is not going to be talking about the comparisons. I'm not trying to compare them at all, or this stream. My biggest issue is the fact is that when you say some tomfoolery like that, some nonsense, because that's what it is, then it gives people the misunderstanding, or it implies that the game is, what up, Dre? What up? That the game is fully finished, and the game was an unfinished product. Say what you want to say to me. It's quite bothersome, but I still play it on a regular basis. Now, nothing against those people who promote NBA Live 19. I'm one of them. But, you know, one thing is promoting truth, and one thing is promoting lies. So we need to cut that nonsense. If you have your own personal agenda, do it on your time. Do not try to use a platform where you represent other people. Now, I'm not saying he does represent other people or not, but Mad Gamer has a tendency of trying to take over people's platforms, or open up drama to talk about himself. Now, one thing that bothered me the most was, for the most of his video, he talked about, and this is what his things were, how much fun NBA Live 19 was. And Jeffrey talked about this in his videos as well. Fun, it varies. Guess what, guys? There are multiple consumer types that play this game. You got franchise players, you got ultimate team players, you have court battle players, and you have, street players. You cannot claim something is more fun if it's only with an avenue that you believe in. You can claim that it's more fun for you, which is what he does in his video often. He tries to spin it where he was talking about himself. So let's just talk. I went through his video actually twice, because the first time I had struggled with understanding with what he was saying, while I was trying to not be like, dude, are you crazy? But he talks about the mechanics and the jump shots and the animations, and then he talks about how there are key principles in the game that are currently there, but we don't see them. So a part of that is quite bothersome as well, because it's disrespectful to all the community members that constantly play the game and they see these things. There is nothing, when you want to talk about competitive advantage, honestly, there's people who play this game thousands upon thousands of hours, and it's just not that something they overlooked. Like, it just doesn't work that way. A lot of the stuff that he claims to have competitive advantage, he considered himself a pro stealer, trying to justify the steal mechanic, while telling us that, you know, it does need some changes. When you play that game, that's annoying. He first talks about, mind you, he first talks about issues with NBA Live, with as it relating to exploits at the 4-minute and 43-minute mark, which he says he talks about how Carmelo Anthony's jump shot does not create an advantageous situation over other people's jump shots, and he used that to explain his whole stance. Now, the problem with that is jump shots do create advantageous situations for different players. Players shoot differently for whatever reason, whether they learned how to shoot like that, whether they do it out of comfort, or whether they do it so that they can be better at shooting. So right there at the 43-minute mark, he just talks about 2K, already talking about his base 11 shot. And then he kind of goes through, he says some more good things, and then you're talking about the bad. The out of bounds invisible barriers, the animations, a lot of work to create collisions, and he keeps repeating himself as saying NBA Live's not perfect. Guys, if you are gonna say something about it being the best and not put the disclaimer that it's just your opinion and does not reflect a larger audience, why try to pull some, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like, I don't know if y'all ever heard Rap Devil, but it sounds like he's rapping. It's like in Rap Devil where Machine Gun Kelly disses Eminem and then turns around and praises him. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna say it's the best and then turn and say it's amazing and then turn around and then diss it. Just be real, man. Just don't come around with that cookie cutter nonsense. Then he talks about how the Metal Gear series is perfect to him. Again, another comment. What is going on? The game just paused itself. So, and those kind of things are bothersome. Now, I'm kind of rambling, which is a little bit annoying for me. But I'm just trying to get all my ideas and thoughts down on paper. And it's a live stream, so I'm not really planning this stuff out. I'm just kind of going along with it. One thing that bothered me the most about his comment was his whole grounds for the discussion about NBA Live being the best was on the notion of the game design approach that NBA 2K takes. I do not play 2K19. I have not played 2K19. The last 2K that I actually own is NBA 2K17, and I have it for the PC. I used to play 2K before. I'm not defending them. Now, what I will note is that 2K has the ability to design the game with paywalls in their game. And because the lack of competition being provided by NBA Live. I play NBA Live on a regular basis. I pay full price for this game. How would I not be upset when someone says the game is the best when it needs a lot of work? Now, is that work a reflection of the developers? Partially, yes, but am I going to personally attack a developer because of it? No. But I will not allow stupidity like this to go unnoticed. Like, you want to say it's the best. There are plenty of things that the game needs that it lacks. There's some core fundamental basketball principles not there. Animations are predetermined. Your rebounding's predetermined. There's tell signs by the computer how they respond. It's not an instant animation. They do prep jumps before the ball even touches the rim. Those kind of things are those are things you need to work on. Those are things you need to highlight. But so he was talking about one thing too that kind of bothered him at the 8-minute and 34-minute mark of his video. He talked about how stealing was overpowered, how we had gameplay adjustments throughout the entire year. Guys, recognize what is a system change and what is a system tweak. Adjusting badges or whatever you want to call them, traits, adjusting how much effectiveness your steal has. Depending on how they design the system, those are tweaks within. That's not them changing how the steals are all done. Now, I'm not saying they didn't, but we have a 1-year development cycle. Let's stop acting like once you get you're gonna have a dramatic change. Prime example, Ghost Wildlands. Wildlands was never designed with multiplayer involved. When they added PvP to Wildlands, they had to create a standalone system for multiplayer. So don't give me this baby back bull about how the game is designed to be built upon when there are some flaws in the system, how it currently is. Now, one thing that also bothered me, he belittled NBA Live players talking about tight defense and disturbing the shot and that there's a skill gap. If you are standing still in this game, whether you're defending a person or not, whether you have left trigger down or not, you will be sucked into an animation. I've done it plenty of times. When I play head-to-head, I just stand there and I'm getting dragged into animations. If the game is lagging, you will get dragged into an animation. So let's not act like that's not a fix that is required. Their game lags when you play franchise mode, but it doesn't lag as bad when you play head-to-head. That is not only because of the servers, but there's other questions in mind. People cheat on the game. You know, you do experience it in 2K too. I'm not dogging NBA Live in that sense. I'm not dogging 2K. But it is just enough's enough with the nonsense. The same thing with when he talks about that it is the reason why we struggle, or the reason why people have issues with NBA Live, has to deal with the fact that we don't know how to play the game. I have sat down and written reports on this game. I have broken it down. I've spent hours on end looking at it. And there are certain flaws in this game that you can't control. So let's cut the nonsense. Now, if you want to tell me just because you playing a game and analyzing a game are two different things. I did not analyze the game for this channel. I analyzed it for my degree, which I just recently finished. And I did it because I had to write reports on it. So let's cut the nonsense. And I'm not trying to say that I know more than anyone else. There's plenty of people who probably play the post better than me. I'm not saying that I know how to shoot well, because I miss a lot of shots. But I have the ability to break down a mechanic and talk about it. So that is one thing too. And then going off of what Rock was saying, because it does a lot. All his talk was about the one-on-one portion. Guys, there are different type of gamers. The one-on-one portion, the my player portion, is not the same experience as the franchise mode. It's not the same experience as head-to-head, and it's not the same experience as court battles. Why in the world do you play the game with your player in 3 different situations, and the gameplay experience is always different? In head-to-head, if I play as a center, when I play live run and I play as a center, I am significantly slower than my power forwards and my small forwards, and they slow me down. When I play in head-to-head, or when I play in franchise mode, I can't do anything, let alone against the computer. I'm playing on All-Star, and I am so slow that it's crazy. When I play in live run, not live run, what do you call those events? Live events. It's actually significant. You play World Tour, it's significantly easier. Explain to me why, if you're playing World Tour, why is your experience in World Tour easier than your experience would be in live run or in and that's with the changing of the difficulties. But from a player's perspective, you're encouraging a player to play their individual player, and they take the habits that they learn in those game modes and apply it in live run. So then at the 11th, okay, so let's just go at the 47-minute video that he talked about. At 11 minutes and 50 seconds, that's when he decides to talk about 2K. His whole focus at that point, and you can quote me on this because I'm quoting him, is that he's going to destroy 2K right now, and then he follows up by talking about a disclaimer to the company and the devs. And he's like, the game is designed to take your money, so they focus on finding a way to sell VC. Okay, why do you think they're able to do that, guys? Why do you think that they're able? Because we have allowed the game to get to the point where it is, and we want to play basketball, so we will sacrifice freedoms and we will deal with paywalls to get real basketball gameplay. Tell me a reason why NBA Live has not increase their team size to make a better basketball game? It's a rhetorical question because it is. He tried to claim that it was about a monopoly and how NBA Live Elite 11 is what destroyed the NBA Live series. And guess what, guys? Before 11, NBA Live and see, but that's my point. You don't have to buy VC. The paywall system or that gameplay design, right, comes from mobile development games. Was it President PC games? Yes, it was, but it came from mobile games. The idea in mobile games was if you're not supposed to play them consistently, but for the player who plays them once in a blue moon, or it's every time they can pick up their phone, they play it for a little. They pay for these paywalls to allow them their gameplay to increase. Now, my statement about that is this: would you rather have people pay $100 to get the game early and go up to an 85 or whatever, or wait until the game comes out? A part of this is our fault because as content creators, we want to have the newest content the fastest. Realize that. Like, you will pay for it because of your content. And guess what? In turn, your content pays for that. Exactly. So then what happens? And then Fortnite takes that concept and turns it around from mobile, but makes it cosmetics. Those are the type of things, those things that NBA 2K does, is it is allowed to vice grip an industry or a market because we have allowed other games to go crap. Let's not talk. He talks about it being the best. Realize that the game itself, there's only how many different basketball games can we play? Can someone tell me off the top of their head how many basketball games are out right now? We got that 3v3 basketball nonsense, which I actually have a video breaking that down because I did that too. We have NBA Live and NBA 2K. The reason why other people don't make basketball games, it's not because the market is saturated, or the fact is that NBA 2K is the best. It is because no one wants 4. There's 4. That's out right now. I'm not talking about 3v3. Okay, so I'm not counting Playgrounds, which is a arcade version. I'm talking about well, you could say 3v3 is also arcade, but there's actually some elements and more so of 3v3 gaming than. So yeah, you have NBA 2K Playgrounds, which is a subset, comes out of 2K, but so then why isn't there more games out there? One part of in his video, he talks about he wants to support everyone. Guess what, guys? As consumers, I don't know about y'all, but I can't be going out supporting everybody. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's a basketball game. You're correct. So with the limited number of basketball games we have, then you got to ask yourself, who do you cater to? Do you cater to the fashionistas that only care about what the latest shoe is? Do you cater to the franchise player who wants to play franchise? Which is probably one of the hardest things to implement, guys. That's what people don't realize. Franchise is super hard to do. Exactly. They do not want to incur the risk. And why don't you want to incur the risk? Because one, consumers are coming around and gun-ho about it, and then they don't support or they allow it to be the chokehold. But see, here's a prime example too, though. 2K has been able to take over the market, which he claims they monopolized because NBA Elite 11 destroyed the series and allowed it to develop later on. Well, 2K Playgrounds was actually bought out by the 2K, and it was bought out by 2K, and then they brought in and made Playgrounds 2, which I also own NBA Playgrounds, the first one. He claimed that NBA Live Elite 11 was the cause. Guys, it's not the cause. The cause was whether the game was shelved or not. One started offering more gameplay. One offered more replayability versus the other. I want to be able to play this game as much as I want and still, a year down the road, and still be able to play it. But you really can't. That is the biggest thing with NBA Live. So franchise mode is the hardest, is one of the most difficult things. Programming AI is not easy. But what up, Daryl? Thank you for coming through. So you have the franchise mode, you have court battles, you have live events and live run. Now, his primary focus was on. Now, what bothered me the most, okay, so I know what I was going to say. What bothered me the most about what he said in that video was the fact that he belittled people that claim that 2K is a better game. I'm not here to say that 2K is a better game. I can tell you straight up, if you were to measure the systems, 2K has a more complex system, so in turn, there's more gameplay elements that I can do. There's more things I can do in NBA 2K that I can't do in NBA Live. But I still play NBA Live on a regular. Y'all can, if y'all want to play some head-to-head, let me know. But he belittled people that liked it by saying that it's a disrespect to gamers for a game design company or a publisher to publish such a game, and that we are brainwashed. When you have to attack someone to get your opinion off, that kind of throws your stuff out the window. You know, especially if I don't know if he's a game changer or not. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I know he hasn't claimed to be one, or I haven't seen it. But if you represent a bigger audience than yourself, and people can easily mistake that as him a representative of the NBA Live community, that is an issue. It's not about being brainwashed. What brainwash is the shilling that people do. Like, there are okay, so here, that's a prime example. He is trying to be one. One of the biggest problems in the NBA Live community now is that for the individuals that are trying to become game changers, they are willing to lie to you in your face in order to stay into the good graces of whoever they have to move ahead. And then the individuals that are honest get penalized for honesty. That is a big issue. And why? Because we encourage it. We encourage it in this community. We allow it to continue. I'm not here to ask for anyone's job. None of that. But you just need to start calling people out. So, well, you know, as a game changer, what he says reflects our community, and we need to take a little bit more initiative to not allow it. Now, maybe we shouldn't call him out the way we did, but you know what? It is what it is. The day you want a poster, you start to receive. Okay. But then he talked about my career mode, that's all he talked about in his video for the most part, was the my career mode as it relates to no skill. It either takes money or a lot of time. Guess what, guys? This whole grindy nature that you're starting to see in video games, this was a looter shooter's dream coming through. It came from the looter shooter genre. But the real idea behind grindy games is to require less gameplay content and to distract you as a gamer. Like, let's get out of this. The VC thing is a very mobile thing to do. Yes, does it require me to play long hours to play it? But also, the reason why I get so invested in playing 2K, which is because of that. It is because it is a mobile approach with a looter shooter mentality. So now I'm going to talk. He talks about the psychology and the social aspect of gaming, and how us being social introduces us to purchase or pre-order or to allow people to abuse us. I don't necessarily agree with that completely. Some of it is social. You do get games to play. For example, I purchased Anthem because someone in this room decided that Anthem was going to be fun to play. So that, but there are advantages of getting games early. Now, my question to you guys, and I'm going to put this out there, is would you rather pay extra for everyone to get the game early, or do you think it's fair that only select people get free copies in advance and then still have the ability to claim that they're the best in the game, or the first what do you call these things? I don't even know because I stopped playing that crap. Yeah, Anthem's not new. So those are the type of things to think about. Like, we have now, one of the things that we need to work on as a community is the fact that we need to stop withholding information. We get legends. Is it legends first? Icons. Yeah. So why is it fair to someone to claim to be the first icon and they get rewarded for it, but they got the game weeks before the average player? At least in NBA 2K, whether they put a paywall in front of you to get the game first, they give you an equal opportunity to get it. Now, if you broke, you broke. But the reason why, one thing that you can think about is that the whole race to the first 100 overall, there is financial benefits to the people that play along into that. They get YouTube views just because they're ranked, they're 90 something, or they're the first one of this, and that little drama starts, and that just gives them clicks. Like, but here you got people being rewarded as the first icons, but they got the game 2 weeks before everyone else. Come on, guys. Regarding the spoon-fed information, or the drip communication that we get, if you have a private discussion with the dev, that's private, that's on you. But if you use that information that you've spoken privately to get yourself clicks or views, or to make yourself appear more important than you are, did he just make a half-court shot? That's pretty messed up. Now, I'm off topic just because the more and more I look at my notes that I wrote about Live Gamer's video, which was 47 minutes long, I actually watched it twice over. The more and more I realized the stuff that he says were all about whatever he can say to politically keep himself in the right, while talking about foolishness he doesn't know about. One thing that really annoyed the hell out of me, and I'm gonna say this now, it is that he kept quoting, and you could probably play a drinking game based off the number of times he said this, was that 2K has way more bugs, way more exploits, and way more glitches. Guys, he kept saying that. He said it multiple times. There's one, he said it once at the 20-minute mark. He said it at the 26-minute mark. I mean, I'm sure he said it sooner than that too, but I'm just... See, but that's the thing too, though. It is... The developers are their own individuals. They don't always know why decisions are made. But they are, because they're employees of where they work, they will try to defend in a public setting the decisions or the reasons why it was made, or they will try to avoid the conversation. Stop feeding into that. Stop feeding into the clickbait, and stop feeding into the I talk to the devs nonsense. Because guess what? As game changers, if you are a game changer and you talk to the devs and you provide your opinion in an offline setting, that is a concern for me. Because what made you have a higher valued opinion than me, and then turn around as you're supposed to kind of represent us and not represent us, and then not give people the ability to talk about it because people are fixed into their opinions anyway. But going back to the thing, 2K has way more bugs, exploits, and glitches. Guys, 2K has way more bugs, exploits, and glitches because it has more systems in the game. Simple facts. If you looked at the amount of data required, or let's not talk about data because it changes. The amount of gameplay elements, the amount of items in the shop, the amount of things you can do in NBA 2K, It is going to have more. They have a year development cycle just like NBA Live. And maybe if people talk to them like people, they would talk more often. That is very true. But let me not venture off. That comment, 2K has more bugs and glitches and exploits. Guys, there is an unbalanced archetype system in NBA Live. Say what you want, but you know there is when you go into live running, everyone and their mom is running wingers. Why does everyone have wing players? The occasional person who doesn't has like a playmaker or a backcourt shooter. The big man there's a weight issue. There is a weight to velocity to speed issue in NBA Live. There's plenty of things that create unbalance in the game. The concept of balance is you and I have the exact same even playing field. It's called... So I don't have a problem with people that play the wing, but if you're going to measure yourself as a wing defender, I'll look at a backcourt defender doing more work higher than a wing defender, but that's just my personal opinion. But let's not talk about how there's balance in the game, because there is not balance in the game. It's a basketball game. In franchise mode or play now mode or whatever you want to call it, there's not going to be balance. That is just the way it works. That's called a positive feedback loop. The rich get richer. You know, when stars join up and form a team, they are better than other teams in the league. Now, that is a problem with NBA Live, because in order to create a realistic feel, they amplify these players, which is great, but then in turn, there's not a human counterpart to that. Because guess what? What you don't have in this game is you don't have the ability to, unless user error takes it, of course. If user error comes in, then you kind of find some balance. But that's not, user error is not balance. That is not balance in any way. So then at the let's kind of tail this up, because he talked about at the 29-minute mark, not saying NBA Live is the greatest. I'm just addressing the facts. Between 2K and NBA, it's not even an argument in my opinion. Guys, if his opinion is that he likes 2K, or he likes NBA Live better 2K, don't go off and tell people that it's the best. Don't go off telling people someone reads that and takes that comment for face value. It's kind of like a Trump thing. It's like alternative facts. You think people are going to go around and look into why he said that? Or you think the 2K community is going to turn around and look into, well, it's just Mad Gamer, he's full of shit? No. But it's an embarrassment on us. So it's a certain level of policing. Okay, so can you talk more about your opinion on what he said hurts the game development if someone is believing it? What hurts the game development in NBA 2K? Is that what you... Because he talked about that for a good, 20 minutes. His only thing about talking about what hurts the game development from a 2K perspective, he just took one thought and said it 60,000 different ways, was that NBA 2K community players are brainwashed, so they can't see the true issue at hand. That there is what he talked about, what hurts the game development for live. Okay, so this is what he talked about, what hurts the game development for live, for those who didn't watch his video. His primary concern, and let's go, because he only talked about 2 seconds of that, and that's obviously an exaggeration. Let me find my page. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so he talked about canned animations. He talked about stealing and how he did not like the fact that if he stole the ball, that the ball would bounce away from the player and turn around and bounce back to the player. He says that the game still needs balance between Oh, okay. Talk about your opinion on. Okay, so sorry about that. I kind of understood that completely wrong. So let me talk about that. And this is the biggest problem with people's opinion when it is valued more than others is that two things. One, it's how it's perceived. There's no such thing as bad feedback. There isn't. There is no proper way of giving feedback unless I ask you a very specific question. There is no incorrect way to talk about feedback. There's no way you could say that the game is the best game in the world. That's still good feedback. The problem is how it's perceived. If the wrong person comes across that comment and values their opinion more than the person that actually knows the truth, then that creates an issue, because guess what? There are elements that need to be fixed in the core principle of the game, and they are going to overlook them. You have to, regardless of whether you say it on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, your opinion has a ripple effect. Take pride that you have the ability to give your opinion, and take pride that you're not giving people, you're not feeding people's bullshit. Like, if you cannot separate your professional goals with your actual articulated opinion, then don't give it. You know, that is what it really boils down to. I can care less what comes out of this, and I'm probably gonna get shit for it being so unorganized. But from a development standpoint, I have seen it happen. I have seen it happen on a personal level. I've seen it happen on a professional level, that people will be like, someone said this, and then we won't fix anything about it. He said that there are not as many exploits in NBA Live. Well, guess what? There's no reason why someone who could shoot like Steph Curry can dunk on a center, but you can do it in NBA Live. You can't control the artificial intelligence. He talked about how the AI is better than it was in 19, and how great it is, and how he has so much movesets that he can control, and he only listed cutting to the basket, off-ball screens, and the pick and roll game. The pick and roll is an exploit in this game. In head-to-head, the AI does not roll on a pick and roll unless you don't get stuck in the pick. Now, when you play offline mode, it's a little bit different. But from a perception standpoint, guys, that has a rippling effect. It just takes one person to see that tweet that has management power over a decision or a system, and just shit goes down the drain. Do you honestly think that these people that talk to the developers, that provide feedback to whoever they claim that they provide it to, do you think that these people are going to turn around and mince their words? No, they're going to provide verbatim what was said. Why? So that you're not on the chopping block at that point. This is what so and so said. I didn't say it. So and so said it. That is an issue. That is why I was trying to talk about earlier about how us attacking the devs is not going to solve anything. Us talking about if there's 50,000 videos out there about how rebounding is shit, you better believe something's gonna happen, whether it's in this cycle or the next one. The concept of the forums, Reddit, Facebook, those are ways to attempt to organize your thoughts, because people provide feedback and not everyone hears it. But there are also ways to limit your ability to provide your opinion. You get policed on what you can and can't say. Those type of things we as a community need to start working on. Just be real. Stop overlooking the bad to only highlight the good. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not telling you to go blow up Project Leech's page talking shit to him. I'm not trying to tell you to go to Tim J. Robinson talk shit about the dribbles, or the fact that you can get your ankles broken and you're not even defending a guy. That is not what I'm saying. understand the system, understand the mechanic, ask questions, bounce the idea off people's head. The way I perceive things, the way you perceive things are different. Let's argue about it. If someone encourages you to get on a live stream to talk about it, you have two options. Go out there and take use of the platform, have the conversation about it. Don't start playing the I'm going to make fun of you game or I'm going to talk shit to you game, because that just shows that you can't have a civil conversation. Or reach out to them privately. Because how information is perceived is a big... I had a professor in one of my courses who tried to fail us because one person provided feedback on a system within our game project that we submitted, and they didn't understand it. The person who provided the system was an art lab professor. The reason why we knew that they didn't understand what they were talking about was because of the fact that he was claiming things that weren't built into the system as bugs. He was claiming things that should have been, that were his opinion, and our professor tried to give us a 43 on it. We raised concern because the system worked perfectly fine. There was actually no bugs with our system. Was it implemented the best? Could it have been implemented better? There's always a better way of doing something, guys. But this one professor gave feedback to another professor, and it literally almost cost us our grade. That is a concern. Like, that is seriously an issue. That's why when game changers or people who have 1,000 damn followers or whatever say some foolishness about how great the game is, it becomes an ever-growing issue. Let's cut that nonsense. I don't care if you want to claim your opinion, go for it. Make sure to clarify, though, when you say things like this, that you clarify it's your opinion. It is not the opinion of the community. It is not the opinion of your followers unless they voted on it, but it is your opinion. And that's all I'm asking. You know, with Matt Gamer, I'm personally not going to entertain him anymore. He's very condescending when he speaks. He acts like he knows what he's talking about. Anyone can go look up online game design documents or do some courses for free, guys. Well, Marcus Soul hitting Super Contestants 3. This is on, this is not even me playing. My question is, though, do you guys really think that the game's going to be 57 to 80? Those are the type. That's the things that I want to talk about because it's an ever-growing issue. If you are upset, separate what you're upset about with not the individual in terms of the developer, but with the actual implication or the implementation of the mechanic. Well, what people don't realize is that when we get a new court or something like that, you overlook this kind of stuff. Artificial intelligence is not easy, not in any fashion. You have to talk about a computer system, basically machine learning on your actions. The fact is what people don't understand is that it's gonna cheese because there's not that many options for it. Every frame, the AI is asking a series of questions. And I really think the series of questions being asked is very limited. Those are the type of things to think about. And sorry for going off and ranting. I will get better at this in the future because I will be talking about this more. I'm not going to stop. So thank you guys for coming through from Chimera Team Gaming, where we let our passion for gaming become a three-headed beast. Peace.